Thought you'd take these penguins to the zoo. These guys are what I did. Today I'm taking them to the beach.
Comedy Troupe of Miami.
This is Mo Mandel on Denver's home for 24/7 comedy. Comedy 103.1. Mo Mandel.
Said Al-Qaeda, I have some questions for you. Said Al-Qaeda, how come you hate the West? And so I asked a many-layered answer, Glenn. I said, well, boil it down. We hate the West because the West is fighting a secret war on Islam. I said Al-Qaeda. I said Al-Qaeda, if the West is fighting a secret war on Islam, how come you can build a mosque anywhere you want? That's not how you fight a secret war. And if you look at the other world power on the planet right now, China, where Islam is basically illegal, don't you fight China?
Look at this.
The West is the one power on the planet right now who could possibly stop China on our best day, but we definitely won't be able to because you got
We might get an earthquake out of this one.
Look at that, look at that. We gotta go over there and fight China. But Al-Qaeda knows. Al-Qaeda knows China's a much bigger threat to their way of life than we could ever be, but they'll never fight China for one very simple reason, and that is that China would kick Al-Qaeda's ass. It's not like fighting the West where half us are like, oh, it's Guantanamo Bay, right? Is it wrong? You fight China, you will be pining for Guantanamo Bay. They'll have you naked in a Chinese death camp going, do you remember the orange jumpsuits? That's what I miss the most.
Glenn Wool.
The 57 Classic is on now. Vintage comedy so funny you'll want to slap your mom. 24/7 comedy.
This is it, guys and gals. The new thing, the moving, grooving thing. You said school was a bummer? Let you use your own hands to make valuable objects. Everybody's heading for woodshop. Stop by and talk to the carpenters. Before you know it, you'll be 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Come on, everybody, meditate here. 1, 2, you there? You're not meditating. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now we're gonna do some inhaling exercises. But first, this message. Where can you go between 12 and 1? Where can you go for a fight on fun? Where can you get sick each day at noon? Garbage in the lunchroom. That's right, gang, the lunchroom. No far-out organic foods, just good old American oatmeal burgers. Stupendous grease-flavored French fries. Delicious chocolate milk chock full of nourishing wax. It's all in the lunchroom where you get yesterday's food today.
This is Nancy Fancy with Home Economics. Today we're going to learn about our clothing, and the way we're going to learn is by making an actual piece of clothing we can wear ourselves or give to a friend. We are going to tie-dye a tie. Now watch carefully. First, we take the tie we're going to dye and tie it. When the tie is tightly tied, we dip the tie in the tie-dye dye. When the tie-dye tie is dry, we untie the tie and take the dye we've just applied and set it aside. Retie the tie-dye tie, take another dye, dip the retied tie in this dye too. Take it out, let it dry, untie the tie, and you've got a tie-dye tie. And a tie's not all you can tie-dye. You can tie-dye a tutu, too. Take the tutu, tie the tutu, dip it in the dye, let it dry like the tie we dyed. Now tear the tutu in two. Now you've got 2 tutus to tie-dye. Take the 2 ties you tie-dyed and the 2 tutus you've torn and still tied. And then you dye.
Conception Corporation.
And let's define the word retard. What does it mean? It means you were born a certain way. You were born a certain level, but you didn't live up to that. You were behind where you should have been. You were retarded, right? But let's talk about this. That guy in the Olympics with the blades for legs, let me ask you something. Any of you guys make the Olympics? I see people, paraplegics, going to law school, getting these law degrees, taking down these billion-dollar companies in civil suits. I'm sorry, kids with Downs have access to a level of love that we can't even imagine. I'm sorry, that's not retarded. That's advanced. But if you have everything working perfectly, you have all your facilities about you, but you end up addicted to crystal meth and living under a bridge, retard.
This is 24/7 Comedy. Comedy 1031 is 103.1 FM, K276FK Denver.
I recently went on a tour where one of the tour stops was San Jose, California, and you stay in a hotel near the club whenever you do a gig, and they put us in a hotel that the same weekend we were there, they were hosting a furry convention. Yeah. It was one of the best weekends of my life. It goes like this. 311 Cruise was the best weekend of my life because that boat was hot boxed. And then my second best weekend was the Weezer Cruise because that was still fun, but it wasn't as hot boxed as the 311 Cruise. And then the third thing, hanging out in a hotel full of furries. The hotel bar, registration, I didn't check out the gym, but everywhere you'd go in the hotel was a bunch of people wearing cute furry animal mascot costumes that were, absolutely adorable. And I always thought furries were like, it was a sex thing, that they just wanted to put those things on and then have animal sex with each other. But it turns out that's a very, very small part of it. You guys are laughing like, what did you do? Well, for starters, I didn't have sex with them. I just
Our
hung out
first
with them. That's how
jet
I know.
trail.
Because they all told me, no, we just like wearing these costumes. We're shy
This is
people.
the first one
like
I've
to,
seen this
meet
evening.
Other people that like wearing costumes.
I don't want to sound happy about it, but
cases, and the costumes look
let's
great.
see what
I still have
happens.
like 50 pictures in my phone of because down at the bar at night in this hotel, they play music, and people in the furry animal costumes would dance around. There was a whole dance floor full of mascots. It was so amazing. And I came up with an idea, hopefully I'll get it off the ground at some point, of, that movie Wedding Crashers? Yeah, I think you could totally get laid if you showed up at a furry convention and just, kept your costume on and didn't admit to anybody that you're not really a furry. I think you could get away with it. And I think that'd be a hilarious movie, The Furry Convention Crashers. I'm sure Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson are busy, but, me and TJ Miller could play the parts. The cameo by Pete Holmes. And, and I've already thought of this slogan.
Okay, well, this airplane jet just disappeared. Left a trail. That little squiggly wiggly thing was what the plane left behind. Notice that it's starting to ripple out. Some of it's dissipating. Let's see what happens to the rest of the clouds now that this jet flew through. What I'm noticing right away already is that the cloud to the right is gray. All of a sudden, just bam. Now watch these appear. Come on. Look at that. How do you like that? How do you like that? Look at this. How do you like that? Huh? How do you like that? I am so glad I stuck around for this. This may not mean anything to you right now. This is just more information. This is just more of what you need to be aware that's going on above you. Now, the last little cloud over here, it's starting to tip out gray. Look at that. Over to the left-hand side, it's tipping gray. And watch it just... There it goes. How you like that? And that just took one jet. One jet flying through. Left that mark. And now look at that. Sorry for the spots. I'm sitting in my car because it was cold. Okay, now I'm going to show you. We're going to look over here. And earlier today, this was the area that I was showing you all the variety of clouds. Now this is what has happened in just the last few seconds, in probably under a minute and a half. All of a sudden, anything that was white at one time, puffy, glary, bright, is now this color. Okay, now let's come over here. Again, this is where the plasma cloud that I called it, that's where that was. Those are the two. The jet flies through, he disappears, boom, done. Done with their exercise today. Alright, I might be full of crap here. Again, it's information. I just want people to start looking up and noticing what's going on above their heads. Okay, one last thing since we're at it, and then I'll be done. Thank you very much. This is what that looks like. Now, granted, it is getting later. The moon is out. There she is. Okay, but this is the same kind of formation. Go ahead, you can walk through. No, I'm taking cloud pictures. You're fine. Well, they're not really. If you notice, it was the same system that came in last week, exactly the same kind of clouds. That's not right. God doesn't do that. Did you guys notice the clouds the last snowstorm?
Oh yeah, we always do. We take pictures. Yeah.
It was nice chit-chatting with these ladies. Oh yeah, aren't they cool? Yeah, nice clouds. Look at that. As I was saying, it's now 5 o'clock, but everything's gone gray.
Daniel's hush.
I just think that's interesting. All right, much love.